Author Harlan Coben continues his deal with Netflix, and the latest is a 5-episode miniseries based on his book, Missing You. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for the new miniseries on Netflix, Missing You. This is based on the Harlan Coben novel of the same name, and he's been doing a bunch of stuff with Netflix, and not all of it in English either. We've parsed out some of his work to some of the other Netflix countries, and they've produced them there. But so far, we've gotten two right in a row on New Year's Day. 2024 saw, was that called Fool Me Once, I think? And then this one debuted on January 1st of this year, Missing You. And this is the shortest one, I think, of all. Usually they are either 6 or 8 episodes, but this one is only 5. And I think that actually works maybe a little bit in its favor. We'll talk about all that here in just a second. First, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are one of my Dan Reviews subscribers already, can't thank you enough for that. Love having you return. But if you're not, please consider subscribing down below there. Maybe click that notification bell too so you get the alerts for all my video drops. We do all things movies and TV here on the channel, and I really do try and cover it all, and this one was not really on my radar, and I did not care for the last Harlan Coben redo, which I think was called Fool Me Once. I gave that a D+. I will say this one is better. We're moving in the right direction here, but this is still not great. We'll talk about the reasons why here. But the premise is about Kat Donovan, who is a detective played by Rosalind Elazar, who you may know from Slow Horses on Apple TV+. She discovers her missing fiancé on a dating app over a decade since his disappearance. So is this really him? Where is he? What happened to him? She's got to track that down. But also, she's focusing on a handful of other mysteries too. For example, her father's death. Who killed him? What happened? Somebody had confessed to it. But are they the real killer? So she's dealing with that. And there's a couple of other plot points involved here too. So I think already maybe you could figure out what one of the issues is with this show. There's just way too much going on. And as a result, the first couple of episodes are really kind of a jumbled mess. Now, I will typically watch 2 or 3 episodes of a show to really, kind of get my feet wet and give it a proper review. I think if you only watch 1 episode of something, usually you don't get the full scope. But look, this was only 5 episodes, so I watched the whole thing because once I got to the 3rd episode, I'm like, all right, well, there's only 2 episodes left. I may as well finish this thing out, see what really happened to this disappeared boyfriend and the father and all of that. But with that, the first couple of episodes are just a big jumble of all of these ideas that and all of these mysteries that are starting to open up, and one sometimes begets another. A couple of them have really nothing to do with each other, just sort of her as the point person. But you also have Jessica Plummer here, Richard Armitage. We've seen him in many things over the years. Lenny Henry, Steve Pemberton. And I'm not sure if these are people. I've only really seen, I guess, this one and Fool Me Once. I don't think I've seen any of the other ones. He did have one that was not on Netflix in 2023, I think. That was called Shelter. That was on Amazon, but I never got a chance to review that one. So I think it's just these 2 I've seen, but I don't know if he recycles the same, type of casts, if certain people appear in his other things. I don't know. But these 2 that I've seen both came from the UK. So these are all, for the most part, British actors and actresses. But so you've got that sort of mess of ideas in those first couple episodes. I will say it slows down a bit as the series continues and we sort of pick things apart. I think that we want to focus more on, which they honestly should have done since the beginning. But no spoilers, but I do think it wraps up way too quickly as well. Like she discovers something the last minute and a half or whatever of the final episode, and then basically the credits start rolling right after that. And I was like, well, okay, we solved it, I guess, but I felt a little unsatisfied by that ending. You could have tacked on a couple of more minutes of epilogue or whatever. It just seemed to wrap up very quickly. I don't know if that's how these books are. I mean, Harlan Coben was an executive producer on this, so obviously he had his input. I don't know if that's how his books end or this specific one did, but that didn't really work for me either. I was like, okay, I watched 5 episodes of this, about 4.5 hours of my life, and I did not feel satisfied by the ending. The ending of the mystery I was satisfied with that, but then it just boom, cut to the creds. Okay, cool. Do we not want to see what happens maybe to some of these characters after the fact? I don't know. I kind of did, I guess. But then you've got the acting, which was definitely a problem in the last one that I watched, and it continues to be a problem here. It is rather soap opera-esque at times, and that certainly is to its detriment. But look, I will admit, and there's a reason I don't really watch these, but there is that sort of aspect as well with a lot of like the CBS procedural shows like the NCISs and the CSIs. People are saying kind of corny lines sometimes, or just the way that they shoot those so quickly. Okay, we got to make 22 episodes this season. Let's, boom, boom, boom. It's like, Law and Order syndrome. I don't watch Law and Order either, but it's the same kind of stuff. And that's, I think, probably partially why I don't watch that kind of stuff, because the acting, I think, is a little wooden, a little forced. Some of the lines are a bit corny with some of the people they're questioning or whatever. We get this here as well, and that is, I think, a bit to its detriment. So look, overall, I do think 5 episodes is probably the way to go, but we don't necessarily have to end it so quickly. You could give us, a 5th episode that's 5 minutes longer or something, and just tell us a little bit after the fact, because we've invested time into these characters, specifically the main detective, right? So I will leave Missing You with a C. I do think it's a slight improvement off of the last one. And again, I haven't seen any of the others, but obviously they're popular because they keep cranking them out, 1 or 2 a year, I guess. So I don't know if there's another one on deck for later 2025, or if Netflix is saving it for New Year's Day of next year. That seems to be the recent trend, and let people get their binge on for January 1st. But all right, and that will do it for now. Thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It. We'll see you next time.